check for it, we'll do it.
7 o'clock, call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, get a motion to accept the minutes of December 7th.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes from December 7th.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. The motion to accept finance report and payment of the bills.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay. No disbursements. Steve?
No budget.
Budget amendments?
No, not tonight.
Okay, there. Lewis? We're short here.
Yeah, just, when we start new, you know, it's kind of hard to remember. Commissioners, I have annexation A1-2011 to present tonight. Petitioners, Wilbur Properties LLC, William Q. Gianni, Winslow Land Company contract buyer, etc., et al., and other people, property owners in that section of land. They petitioned the American Commission for Annexation on August 3rd. The land is situated adjacent to the Red Hill Road and Delancey Road, and it consists of 60.235 acres of land. Land is currently zoned RM, multifamily residential in the county, and they're seeking R3, multifamily residential in the county, consistent zoning. Public hearing by the Elkton Planning Commission is scheduled for February 6, 2012 at 7 p.m. Public hearing by the Mayor and Commissioners will be scheduled on February 15, 2012 at 7:10. Resolution will be advertised in Cecil League on January 4th, 11th, 18th, and the 25th, and we're putting the final touches on the annexation plan at this time. I think Mr. Tony is here. Might want to throw a couple words of wisdom out regarding his clients.
I am. Again, this is something we've been working on for a little bit of time and piecing together a number of properties in that quadrant, which is sort of, as you know, you kind of almost surround that quadrant. So this will kind of fill in a vacant space, and we think it should be developed within the town of Elkton. And this is step one through the long process. So hopefully we can persuade you all that this is in the best interest of the town as well as the property owners.
Now you've got all the property owners now out there?
There's 3 homes that have not, when you see the eventual plan, there's 3 homes that have, at this point, not entered into the request with everybody else out there. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens to those 3. Everybody else is going on. The vast majority, pretty well everybody out there. So pretty well fill in that whole area.
Good. Anyone else have any questions? Okay. All right, do I have a motion to accept annexation A1-2011?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
That's all I have.
Old business? Anything, Mary Jo?
No more business.
No?
I still have a few questions about our time clock. I brought that up last time, didn't really hear any response on how it got through, but the question I want to ask right now is, where are we at with the time clock? I know that there's being installed. Who is it for? We as the board, at least I don't know who's going to be using it, who's not going to be using it. All those questions that I'm asking now should have been really addressed, and I'm asking now, who's using it, who's going to be punching in, who's not going to be punching in, and the board needs to know that before we go any further with them. I know it's being installed, but again, I still say we should hold off and find out with the rest of the board where we're at with this and where we're going, because there are still questions about it.
Did we get an update yet from HR?
The two interface systems, the boxes, the modules that are used for fingerprints and employee numbers have been upgraded to accept the current number of employees we have. The only other thing that I think is outstanding is implementation, because some people will log on their computers, but some people don't have computers. So the people who don't have computers, like Public Works, for example, they just put their fingerprint and employee number on bingo. And the people in the administration office, they usually just come in and go into a program and log in that way. That's how we're going to do it.
So again, what departments, who is it for? Who is it for? And if it's not for everyone, how's this being fair and being implemented without being prejudiced to some and not to others?
I'm not exactly sure how it prejudices anyone or discriminates, because it's just a matter of managing time. When you come to work and when you leave, that's all it is.
Okay.
A lot of companies use time management
Yeah,
systems.
when I say that, if it's not for one, then it shouldn't be put in place. If it's for all, then it's a fair issue. I'm talking about a fair issue right now,
It wouldn't
fairness.
be applicable in certain respects to people who are not hourly workers, salaried people, because you can't penalize them for not working. They're salaried. All people who are hourly workers get paid by the hour would fall under that category. The only exception would be the police department.
Okay.
They're kind of an anomaly in the system, so they'll figure out a way of dealing with their time.
And there's where I fall back on my last question is, we're asking questions that should have been addressed with this clock before it got implemented. Now we got everything in place, and I'm just now getting the feedback on that. The rest of the board, unless they knew something I didn't know, that's the first I've heard of who's using it and who's not.
I don't know what to say. This has been going on for quite a while now. We've already implemented the Ceridian system. We've been getting paycheck from Ceridian for a while now. It was the first of the two phases. Ceridian produces a payroll based on what we give them manually. The time management system through Time Center will be electronically transmitted to them, and they just produce the paychecks from that time, transmitted to them from Time Center. So it's just a methodology to use.
Due all respect to the rest of the board members and everything, from now on when we do something, if we're going to have consensus on something, we shouldn't have to worry about coming to the next meeting and voting on it. We already voted on it in a work session. Consensus and voting is two different things. And again, I stand behind what I said before. We have never voted on this. The consensus was there to push it through or bring it to the board, but the money was put over into the budget because we didn't come into any agreement, and now it's being put in place as if it was voted on. And I have no record saying that I voted yay for this.
We can simplify this if you'd like. You can have the board vote whether we implement the Time Center time management system. And then if the board votes in favor of it, we will. If they vote not in favor of it, we won't. We stick with Ceridian.
I think the question is, and you might have answered it tonight, was there are exempt employees from the system.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe there is a list there, and I don't think we know who the list of people who are exempt are. You're saying salary.
Yeah, like I'm exempt.
Right.
I can work as many hours as you want for the same money.
And that was the question when it was first discussed and brought to the table about the time management, how that would be implemented through the employees that are in and out of the building so much. And that's my only question, in that you're saying it is the salary employees.
In and out of the
So,
buildings. They come to work and then they leave when they're
right, when they're done their job. I
That's what they do.
understand.
Well, that's exempt people still punch in now, even though they're exempt, right?
Well,
I mean, in a
that's
computer.
the time, you know, I as an administrator want to know who my managers are that are working. so we would know how they're working. But if somebody doesn't work an hour that day, they're not penalized for it.
No, but,
And if they work 10 hours extra, they don't get even any more money either. That's how it works with salary people in any company. And
Any company.
if they're recognized by the Fair Labor Standards Act as exempt employees that meet certain criteria. But I'm not sure that what to do about whether we implement it or not. If Commissioner Feiner has an issue with the board never voting to do it. I mean, I've been using budget that's allocated for it, so.
okay, what's board's wishes? We can already have part of the system in place, and we can vote not to have it and start back to the old way.
Well, we can't go back to the old way. It's a
Well, we
better
are in the old
system.
way. Right now.
I mean, but I'm
we're
saying
manually
we put money into the budget to pay for the system. You can't waste that money. And it is a better tracking system for everyone. As far as, instead of writing on a piece of paper your hours, now it is all documented. You can go online, they can see when their vacation is, how much sick time. It's a better tracking device, but I think the concern was, when it was discussed a long time ago, was who was exempt and who was not. And I think that's what was the question, and it's the salary employees.
If I recall correctly, I was under the impression, I thought we all were under the impression that the only exempt party would be the police department because of, you know, what they do and what they don't do. Also, I was under the impression that we were going to this system to track time and also to enhance payroll, because I guess the payroll now gives you a whole lot more information than what you got before. Previously, you would get, you know, the hours and I guess your net pay and things like that. But now I guess the system should have vacation time and leave time and all those other incentives on there. So
The Ceridian system tracks that already.
And that's what I'm saying.
Paycheck, it tells me how much vacation,
Exactly.
and sick leave, and all that's already on it. The advantage of the Time Met and Time Center program is go in there, you know, and get on your own PIN number. And I think you have a PIN number for people. They use employee numbers for communication, for example, and they can see what their vacation balances or sick leave or anything like that. They'll be able to do that.
I hear everybody. I understand what the program's about. My main concern was how it came about being passed through in the system, and we never really voted properly. That's the bottom line. There's no beating around the bush on that. So I just want to make sure that's clear. I don't have a problem where who's tracking what or how they're signing in. It's the issue of coming from a consensus to a vote. That's the bottom line.
Well, your point's well taken, and I can understand consensus and voting are pretty much the same, with the one exception. When you vote, it becomes an official document. So I guess that's what you were saying, and I can understand what you're saying, that it was never made official, even though the consensus was there.
Well, we made a consensus in the thing, and then it was put in the budget for that system, and then when the budget came about, we voted on the budget, so the money was there to purchase the system.
Yeah, I understand it, but I guess what Earl is saying now, it was never done officially per vote, despite the fact that it was done with the budget. And I understand what you're saying too.
Okay.
Mayor, when did this come about? How long had this system been talked about and put into place?
Oh, jeez.
Probably over 2 years.
Over 2 years, almost 3 years.
Was working on it, G.
Yeah.
Backed off.
So over a 2-year period, there was no opportunity for the board members to go to yourself, the town administrator or the mayor, to find out the particulars on this before we went forward?
Well, Venus came to me.
Yeah, when it was put in the budget, we were going through departments, department by department. That was questioned in the budget, and Venus came to us and explained the system. And that's when we were told about it and what it did, and before the budget was voted on. That's how it took place.
That's how it came about?
Yes.
And at that point, that's when the consensus was made?
Well, it was in the budget, so it was, we voted on the budget. But we did ask we did single out that item and asked for it to be explained to us. And Vitas, who was the HR director at that time, came in and explained the system.
Okay. And I guess what I'm asking, does it take the board to vote on it to have this put in place? Or did all we need was a consensus?
Well, the vote comes with the adoption of the budget.
Budget.
There are many
Okay.
thousands of dollars we spend every day based on what's budgeted that the board never votes on. They vote on the budget, and we put motors, we buy cars, we do lots of
Exactly.
repair things that cost thousands of dollars based on what we're allocated in the budget, not individually. That's why you hire a manager to make sure that it's budgeted and that we stay within the constraints of the budget.
Very good point. So at this stage in the game, we've had a consensus, we had discussion about it, and you're talking about over a 2-year period. Why is this becoming an issue now?
It's not an issue with me. We're going forward to implement it.
Okay.
I think it could be the time lapse, Commissioner Hicks, because the previous HR director did not put it in place as she was supposed to. And now it's being put in place now at a much later time.
Okay. I see it personally. I did not vote on this particular budget. Am I correct in saying that over 2 years ago? Right. But at this point, viewing the reason for the time management system, I see it as a positive move as far as taking advantage of technology, as far as giving the employees and the different managers in the department another tool to be more effective. And I would like for us to address the issues and just move forward on this.
Any other discussion about it? Are you done, or anything else? Okay. Charlie, any old business?
No.
Commissioner Hicks, any old business?
No.
Okay. I don't have any new business. Mary Jo, any other business?
The new business I have is I want to thank everybody for coming out to do the holiday house decorating contest. I did want to announce the winners. First place was Linda Campbell on Thomas Jefferson Terrace in Patriots Glen. Second place was Justin and Jennifer Bakeoven on Independence Drive in Washington Woods. And third place was Laurie Teague, Bruce Court in, I guess it's still Thompson Estates, but they were the winners. So I just want to thank everyone for participating, and they get a little extra money for the holidays. And I want to wish everyone a very, very happy holiday season and a safe holiday and Happy New Year.
Earl, any?
I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday.
Charlie?
The same. I've still got to ask one other question about the Meridian system. Do all of the employees get the same information when it comes to payroll? Vacation time?
Oh, do they have it on their paychecks?
Do all of the employees have the same information or have access to the same information or are given the same information when it comes to the new system that you have in place?
Yes.
Regardless of whether you punch in or if you go or however you come to work?
Right. It'll be available.
It'll be available on their pay stub.
It's right now it's manually because we send it in and Ceridian prints it out and there's your paycheck with everything on it.
So if an employee needs to find out whatever, they can come to HR and get it?
I'm sorry?
So
No, they can punch in on the computer.
that was going to be my second question. I'm saying if you don't have access to a computer, then I as an employee can come to HR and find out whatever pertinent information I need to know. Or I can find the same on the computer without going to HR. Is that correct?
Yeah, Public Works, for example, they have a computer down there to access that information. For all Public Works, they can go in and they'll have a number and they can get in that way and know what it is. All of us up in the administration office will have access to it too. Police department have access to it.
Okay.
The computer.
And the second thing, Earl, you brought that up. I took the pictures. You want to explain that? Earl.
Oh,
Oh, down on Mackerel Street, I know that they have already had police involved with this, and here's a picture where a guy with his truck and trailer, he parks in front of the business just for spite. And I was just wondering if there's anything we could do to help accommodate this business, because it's a neighborly battle back and forth about parking a car for 2 hours, and then after 4:30 for the weekend, they leave it parked right in front of the place with a trailer hooked on, blocking the 2 parking spaces that they use over the weekend.
There's a different picture there as well,
Yeah,
so you can see
and
that from the other
it's
one.
really something that I think is really childish, but anyway. And it's to be honest with you, babe, Bender's Music. Here's a program that teaches throughout the weekend, and just for spite, a trailer and a truck is parked there, and the neighbor lives a door or 2 doors down.
Park in front of vendors?
Yeah,
Yeah,
pass that along. And
I had a call.
I was wondering if there's something we could, I know that if you do for one, you gotta do for all. It's like the time clock. But anyway, the parking situation, if it's 2-hour parking on that street, I was thinking an establishment should have some kind of parking space in front of their place if it rains or whatever. But I don't know what to say and what to do about it, but this is every weekend, 4:25, waits for the cars to park, move so they can park this trailer right in the way and leave it sit until Monday morning. I mean,
They have over 600 students.
I know what
there.
you're talking about. I was called down there and I talked to them, and they moved it, but that was the other thing, was the cars were all parked on the wrong direction, on the wrong side of the road too. The police were out there, when I got there, I had 2 officers there, and they were ticketing everybody. But to get the signs up there, it says 2-hour parking. But after that, you know, unless they catch them in time, I don't know.
so I don't know whether we can brainstorm, come up with something, or if anything could be done about it. That's why it's being questioned here today.
Or what we have to do is try to find.
Yeah, Louis can have that picture.
And ask them
There you go.
if they could park an alternative location. And in a lawful way, we can remove a registered vehicle from a public street unless it's in violation.
Even owner said even if he just backed it up, they could still have open access to go into the store. Because there's a spot that he can back it up, maybe 6 feet, 7 feet or something like that.
Yeah, but,
Driveway?
No.
He's blocking the
from
entrance to the
driveway
store when you go into the
whole
store.
time
It's
the
all
store.
parking.
Let me see a picture.
Let him see the picture, pass him down, he'll see it.
And he does have, I think he has a driveway, he could put, he's got 3 cars.
Yeah, but
He's
he
got 2
lives,
cars in that too.
he lives diagonal, he lives across the street.
But he can park that in his driveway, or 1 car in his driveway.
You're probably right. I guess he chooses not to.
That's right, exactly. That's what he does. No. I don't know what we can do. Got any suggestions, chief?
Well, I'll take a look at it,
Okay.
see what's there. I mean, if you got signage up and it's, you know, you can always change signs.
Right,
in town.
yeah, that's true.
Right.
No parking on the side of the street though.
We'll take a look at it.
Yeah. You can make a 30-minute business zone there or something.
Yeah.
That is.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Of course, then they would have to comply with it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm done, sir. I'd like to wish everybody Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
I would like to do the same. It's the last meeting. Wish the town a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Okay. Michelle? Okay.
Mr. Lisenberg, that was it, other than Santa Claus, but he's not here.
Oh.
Is there anything else?
Well, he's, I didn't know if he's, I didn't get a sign-in sheet or anything. Let's see. I know one person signed in with Santa Claus. Got Santa Claus, North Pole, happy holidays, very good, very nice. Mr. Litzenberg?
Santa Claus. There was a good article that Ken Benner, he presented a lot of it to you the other day, last meeting. It was a good article in the paper. Just a question, I don't know whether I'll get an answer, I just need a yes or no answer. Several years ago, Dick Reed met with a commissioner, the mayor, and Louis George, and told them of some studies that were done when he was a town administrator many years ago. And it's basically the same thing that Mary Jo asked the question of Ken, and he found it. Thank you for asking that question. My question is, those of you that are on the board now, you weren't on the board at the time. I think the other three were in the mayor. Were the three of you, were you aware of this study when you signed the contract with Artesian? Were any of you aware of that study?
I was not.
You were aware of it, Mayor, because you were there when Dick brought it
No,
up.
I told about it.
Right? And it was never brought up before this board about the water resources that the town had or could have. It was never brought up before the board.
No.
No, okay. I don't know whether this would have any input with Artesian, if you're going to renegotiate the contract with them or not, but if you do renegotiate with them and come up to some kind of consensus again with them, whatever word you want to use with this, you might have a little bargaining power by stating you do have access to water right here in the town of Elkton, that you have to get the resources, you've got the resources here that you have to explore and get them. I don't think that you want to even think about entering into a contract with Artesian for 30 years of water. I think Earl said he was very adamant about no.
Yeah.
Charlie was, I don't know if this is, but I think you ought to hold your guns on that thing and don't even negotiate that with them. You've got, what, 3 years left in the contract with them?
Correct.
2 years? What Earl brings up about this policy, I don't know what your policy is, but I think any time that you change policy in the town, you usually vote on it here before this board. And I think he's absolutely right. A consensus doesn't mean it should be put in the budget and you vote on it because it's in the budget puts it into effect. I think some of the personnel director was here before and she didn't know the workings of the people that were not happy with the signing to this and so forth. A lot of them were disgruntled, she said. Well, I think the Public Works Department, when they're called in on overtime, they have to sign to come in and so forth. That's what they have to do. Some of the other departments. But the police department seems like they're exempt from all these issues. And that's why you get disgruntled employees, because some departments have to do it, other departments don't have to do it. Now, if the police come in here in the morning when they go to work to sign in, they're on duty, whatever it may be, and they sign out at 8 hours later or 10 hours later, you got 2 hours overtime, like everybody else. If they have to go to court, they sign in. When they get in here, they don't charge their time from the time they leave the house till they get to the court and back again. Public Works doesn't charge time when they're leaving their house on an emergency. And I think there's a lot of issues with these department heads that could be resolved by just sitting down and talking to them about it. A lot of issues, but it doesn't seem like it gets to that level with them. Anyhow, that's all. Merry Christmas to all of you.
Thank you.
Okay, hearing nothing else, I motion to adjourn.
That's a move.
Second? Okay, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Motion. This meeting is adjourned.